So everybody's seeing on Facebook, you got all kinds of real estate professionals using Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram. They're using videos, they're asking for referrals, they're posting their listings, they're describing properties, they're giving information. And as a real estate professional and being in the mortgage business, I'm always wondering, how are they actually capturing their audience? So it's one thing, you're providing information, but how are you getting the information back? How are you knowing who are you reaching? Are you getting the referrals? Are people seeing it? Are they responding to it? Are they filling out information for it? Are you getting the buyers? Are you getting the listings? So I wanted to have a discussion of like what you guys think as well, how basically social media has changed the landscape for the real estate profession.
Changed it a lot.
Dude, you go first, because I'm going to go crazy on this.
Changed it a whole lot. So I'm only going to talk about the brief period of time that I've been in real estate, and from what people told me, like where real estate really happened at, like where the MLS was like straight from a binder with like pages and stuff like that. So with social media, with Facebook and Instagram and other platforms, it makes it really, really easy and extremely accessible for everybody to find out anything that they want to know about any area of real estate or listings, or if they want to search anybody up and everything else. So I would say with social media, with actually putting content on there, like a real good way to capture any type of info is like basically just to follow up and communicate with people that are basically commenting on posts, sharing posts. And
Well, what did you say to me this morning?
Gotta be everywhere.
Hey,
Gotta be everywhere.
You're everywhere.
Gotta be everywhere. Continuously posting. You want to be resourceful. You definitely want to put out good content and not a whole bunch of
A lot of fluff.
So I want everybody to think about their Facebook, their Instagram, their Snapchat, their LinkedIn as different eyeballs. LinkedIn being the yellow pages, Instagram being a magazine, Facebook being the newspaper, Snapchat being how people will be communicating in the next 10 years, like a phone. Take that and then think about when you're driving down the road and you see a billboard. If you see it enough, you might remember that billboard. That's every time you post on your social media.
Sure.
The followers that you have are people driving down the road that might see your billboard sometimes. And if they see it enough and they like it enough, they may work with you. So the question is, how clear are you on who you are on these platforms?
Gotta be crystal.
Yeah, and what story are you telling on each one?
Well, let's use a live example, right? So Kwesi and I are hosting a home buyer workshop. And we've done the same formula on social media for, I think, 3 previous ones. And we've had an okay response. And every time we did it, we're like, okay, let's tweak it a little bit more. And all of a sudden, this last one went off like wildfire to the part where it made us change the way we did it. So now we're like, you know what? Well, you can't just say, I'm interested and hit a button. You need to fill out a form. So now we're changing the way we're utilizing it to capture the information, because if you're offering a service, if you're offering information, and you're not getting anything back in return. So for example, if you know something specific about properties, etc., you might provide that information. They might go to somebody else.
Yeah.
So you might have been the one that gave them that information, but they ended up going to that realtor that their cousin's brother, sister's husband referred them to, instead of saying that, Kwesi would have been the guy. But if you provide that little teaser and make them do a response, call them to action and say, fill out this form and I will get you the rest of what you're looking for, now you've captured them.
Yeah, and that's the beginning of what they call a click funnel, which a lot of people talk about and they're not quite sure what it is. That's just a term used to explain or label a process of starting where people don't know who you are, then they know who you are, and now they can make a decision, do I like you or not? And there must be some way at that point to have given them some kind of value to get something back, whether that's a like on your fan page or that's an email or that's a webinar sign up, which usually takes an email. And then the question is, from there, what value are you giving them? So then there could potentially be a next step. And that's just a click funnel. So what you just said was the understanding that, hey, because there's a difference between conversion and demonstration of value. For example, there's a difference between sales and branding. Just
Correct.
putting out value, not expecting anything back. Over time, that's going to create the cognitive biases necessary for people to believe in you, right? And then we would call that a brand.
Brand awareness.
Brand awareness, the belief people have in you to solve a problem.
Correct.
That's different than the right now conversion of the opportunity, right? Which we call as sales.
You're nurturing it.
Yeah, so there's both. We need both, because without all of them, marketing is understanding what I said earlier, like where is their attention? Like whoever you can solve that problem to, where is their attention? Is it on Snapchat? Is it on Facebook? Like today, we're on Facebook, right?
Facebook.
Because you're in the mortgage business. You're in the real estate business.
Yes.
What do I do? I'm in the coaching business.
In the coaching,
So
okay.
I'm in the coaching business. So 1.2 billion people are on Facebook, 30 and up, that are on there 55 minutes plus a day.
Yep.
And those are the people predominantly that would be using your real estate services.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean,
So-
you said it yourself. You're putting information out there, but if you're on there, you need to identify the problem first. When you're saying you're
Yeah.
creating value, if you just go on there and you say, I'm a real estate professional, if you know somebody that's looking to purchase a home or list their house, then you're the same as everybody else that's on there doing exactly the same post. You're not
Yeah.
giving value because they're not going to look at you and say, oh, well, finally I found a realtor.
Yeah.
You got to provide something that, for example, if you're looking in a specific area and you're having trouble finding this property, contact me and let me show you, what I can offer. You're giving them something like, yes, I am. Yes, I do want to do that. And what Quasi and I have identified is education is paramount. You guys have all heard that phrase. So the education that we're providing is because first-time home buyers, what's the one thing that everybody wants is education on the entire process. It's cumbersome.
Yeah.
It's stressful.
Overwhelming.
It's overwhelming. I mean, there's so many moving parts, and you're kind of going in blind if you don't get the education. So how do we do the education? We hold a workshop, and we bring all the pieces together, and it's free, but you have to act. And we created a way
How
to
often
make
are
sure
you
they
doing
act.
that?
Every 2 weeks.
So you're doing that every 2 weeks. I know you're on Coffee with Jeff as your show. Are you
Yep.
doing that every day?
Almost every day.
About every day. What about yourself? Is that, because I know you, how long have you been in real estate? As a
2
business?
years.
2
I've
years.
been
So
here 2 years.
as far as, when did you guys get linked up that you've been doing those every,
I would say this is like close to a year and a
Yeah,
half
yeah.
ago.
yeah, yeah.
oh, so this has been, you've been consistently doing those?
Well, as far as like us consistently doing like what we're actually doing with social media,
Yeah.
it's been about since like September or
Yeah.
October of.
What would you
last
say
year.
is, for everyone watching this, what is the return on investment of that time that you've been investing in others giving first?
I would say the response rate has been great. It's a stepping stone because when you realize the audience you're approaching,
Yeah.
it's the one that requires work. So it's not your immediate return.
Yeah, of course.
It's you're getting everybody responding, and now you actually have to deliver and help them
Yeah.
move forward.
Yeah.
So
And
has it helped on a high level?
I would say yes.
Yeah, yes.
I would
So the
say
takeaway for
unequivocally.
everyone watching, like if you give, the top three things, the top three takeaways of this video and social media and what you've done together with providing those value through Facebook and through those home buying seminars, what would that be?
I would have to
Top
say
three tips.
The top 3 tips. Education, our work ethic is like absolutely amazing. This is phenomenal what we've been able to create and to see where it actually started and to where it's grown to.
Huh.
Just to be able to see the growth
Yeah.
and
So work ethic?
Work
Like you've
ethic.
got to make the time
Yes.
to do it?
Yep.
What
And I-
about you, Jeff?
I think understanding the need. So like if we're putting in the work and we're putting in the effort, we're identifying, what's the need of the people we're trying to help.
So
what,
figure out what your audience needs to hear.
what they need to hear and what they're lacking, what's missing. A lot of people don't ask the question. So people will get on there with a response, but
Yeah.
a response to no question. So we would always ask, and if you see on the home buyer worksheet, for example, the one thing we say is, what's your biggest concern? Is it money? Is it credit? And everybody responds with an answer. But if everybody has a concern about credit, or if they're saying that they're short on funds, and we talk about grants, you have to ask the question of, if you're trying to help people, what are they looking for?
Yeah, it's a great
And
point.
if you don't ask that question, and especially since you have social media, we can go on there, and I seen Quasi do it, I think his Facebook almost broke. He just said, what's stopping you from buying your home this year?
Wow.
And like the number one answer.
But remember, before that, Quasi would have, good morning, hi everyone, and he would still get responses,
Yeah.
different type of response.
Yep.
And I said, Quasi, why don't you try asking, what's stopping you from buying your house? And I watched his Facebook literally just go crazy.
So
Yeah.
what? Oh, that's a good one. What question are you asking in the title of your video? Is
Well,
Well,
this
that
is
was
a
a
video,
post.
right?
That was a post.
just-
That was just a post.
Yeah.
So what questions are you asking in general, whether it's a video introduction like a live,
So it's like,
or whether it's a post? Correct.
So it's basically just from the constant or daily communications that I have with prospective home buyers, from the common questions that I'm being asked, then I'll bring attention to it. And
Okay.
That's basically the.
So you're
that's how
listening
I-
to your audience. So it's
Yep.
listen to your audience.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Know your audience and ask the right
That
questions.
was huge too.
They'll tell you the information. They'll tell you the content. All you got to do is listen. And my coffee with Jeff, when you're asking, do you do it every day? My Coffee with Jeff is always in response to whatever is happening either that day or the night before, that I feel like, you know what, I need to share that. Just
Yeah.
like you do. You need to share when you come across something, you know, maybe more people aren't aware of this. If one person has this question and concern, maybe more people have that question or concern. Let's put it out there.
Yeah.
So
I
instead
like
of
it.
instead of me just saying, hey, I do a good job, I offer good products, I talk about what your concerns are and solutions to them. And I think that's had the biggest response from social media.
Culture
So-
matters.
Culture matters.